The Diabetes Nerd podcast is proud to be sponsored by the Eversense 365-day implantable continuous glucose monitor brought to you by Essentia Diabetes Care. I've been using the Eversense CGM since April of 2025, and I love it. It's the only CGM device that lasts a year. The sensor was placed just under the skin on my arm. The transmitter sits on my skin with this silicone adhesive, and I can take it on and off. I love it. Learn more about Eversense 365 at eversensecgm.com. Welcome to the Diabetes Nerd podcast. I am Ginger VIEIRA. I've lived with type 1 diabetes for what I think now is actually 26 years. I've been saying 25, but I was told that my math is wrong. I am recovering, not really from a low. I didn't go low, but John, you could tell I was a little tired. I think it's because my eyes get a little weird when I'm a little low, right? Like, has anyone ever said your eyes look weird when you're low?
No, they tell me I'm ornery. I get,
Oh, okay.
I
It's
get
your
like
attitude?
I get a bad temper, kind of like,
Okay.
yeah, just leave me
Okay.
alone.
Okay. I mean, I could get that eventually, but first my eyes start to look really tired. I just ate some blueberries so that we can not have low blood sugar during this. I told you this would be casual, John, didn't I?
Yes,
Yeah. Here we go. All right. So our guest today is John DeLeo. He has lived with type 1 for how many years?
20 years.
20 years. And you are the inventor of a really cool device. Can you hold that up for us? Yeah, the glucose projector. So this isn't just a screen that's sitting on the desk. It also shines your blood sugar onto the ceiling or a wall with that little projector portion there. Okay, we're gonna get into that technology in a minute. But John, you were diagnosed 20 years ago, pretty late in life compared to what people think of when they hear about type 1 diabetes and diagnosed in childhood. How old were you?
Well, actually, I was diagnosed with type 2 when I
Mm,
was uh, about 45.
okay.
They said I was type 2. I had it in the family. They said my pancreas was still producing insulin, but not enough. So I got put on all the oral medications back then, glyburide, Actose, metformin.
Metformin, yeah.
And then as the years went on, and before Dexcoms and Libres, I had a lot of hypoglycemia overnight. And I
Oh,
just remember my wife nudging me because I would wake up, but I was, shaky and all. And I said, please get me some orange juice. And, I was even so bad I couldn't prick my finger. And so then I would get up and I was low. And then, it was just horrible. A lot of
these were
nighttime
you were
lows.
having those lows on before you started insulin? Or are you
Oh,
talking about
yeah.
after?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
From
So
Actose and metformin
mhm,
and glyburide?
that's when my primary care guy said, I'm going to send you to an endo because
Mm.
he couldn't get me in control. So then I went to an endo and it helped, but I still have nighttime lows. I don't know why I have them. Even on
Sure.
insulin, even on a pump now, I get lows.
Well,
Must be my
I mean,
hormones going up and
but
down.
no, I mean we're all trying to manage a hormone that is supposed to be regulated completely by the body in reaction and in anticipation of 70 million other things, along with five other hormones that we don't regulate properly that are supposed to communicate with the cells that produce insulin.
Right.
Like, anybody could have a nighttime low just by overestimating the amount of carbohydrates in an apple that you ate 2 hours
Exactly.
before bed. Yeah. Okay. So, wow. So you were misdiagnosed for a number of years.
Probably 10.
Oh boy.
And then I got kept having lows, kept A1Cs high. So probably, well, maybe about 8 years ago, I saw my endo, and she walks in and says, "Good news, bad news. Bad news is you're type 1 now." I'm like, really? I said, so what does that mean? I kind of knew what it meant, but she says, well, you can do multiple daily injections or you can go on a pump. I
Hmm.
said, give me a pump.
Yeah.
So I've been on a pump for like 8 years now. I'm on
Okay,
my
so
third different pump.
your 20 years of diabetes starts with your misdiagnosis, right?
Right, at 45. I'm 65 now, so
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
real late in life.
So, yes. And what you've done with the glucose projector is really, I want to hear what kind of inspired this technology, but we all have to deal with constantly looking at this, and it stinks in the middle of the night to just constantly have to open that bright screen and reaching for your phone, and you wake up more. Tell me what really inspired creating the glucose projector.
Well, I am a type A person. I got to know, like, if I'm going to watch a movie, I got to know how long is it? Is it 90 minutes, two
Oh,
hours?
really? Okay.
So I have to. I always ask my wife, how long is this movie? So
Okay.
I've always slept with a clock projector, which is basically this,
Oh,
and it shines the time of day on the ceiling. So I've
okay.
slept with that my whole life because I toss and turn at night. And when I turn, I want to know what time it is. And you don't want to look over here behind your shoulder on the nightstand at the clock. I can see it on the ceiling. So one morning I woke up at 3 o'clock, and this was like 5 years ago. And whenever I wake up in the middle of the night, I check my numbers. So I would reach for the phone,
Hmm.
swipe it up, see my number, put it down. But as you know, I could be 112 right now or at 3:10 in the morning, and 40 minutes later I could be 69.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you don't know it because you're sleeping. So my alarms would go off a lot with Dexcom, and my wife would nudge me, is that your alarm? Is that your alarm? And I'm like, yeah. So one morning I woke up at 3 o'clock and I saw the time, and I'm like, why can't I see my glucose value on the ceiling? So I don't have to reach for my phone. And a lot of times you reach for your phone, and some people have commented like, well, it's no big deal. I just reach for my phone. I look for my pump. But, it's a nanosecond. There it is. No reaching for the phone, no fumbling for the phone, no
Yeah.
turning it on. My wife can see it all night long too. So she
Hmm.
doesn't have to guess if is that my alarm?
Yeah,
What
it's
am I?
way better experience for your partner. I mean, even,
Exactly.
my best friend who, we travel a lot together, and she can't reach my phone. And I know there's been times in the middle of the night when we're in the same hotel room that she would love to be able to look at the ceiling and
Hmm.
know what my blood sugar is. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's why I went to buy it that morning, and it didn't exist. So
Mm.
I told my wife, I said, you know what? I'm going to invent one. So I found a industrial designer, and I showed him my clock. It was a Radio Shack clock, just like this. I said, I want
Hmm.
this, whatever you got to do in the inside to
Yeah.
follow my CGM on the ceiling.
Yeah.
So that's what they did. It took 4 years to get it developed and on the market, but now it's
Wow.
on the market. And
4 years. Why did it take 4 years? I don't know anything
uh,
about
just a
developing
lot of
technology.
factory problems, finding engineers. And another thing was, as you very well know, and everybody that's a diabetic, try explaining to the average person what a nighttime low is, what it feels like, how you don't want one,
Ugh,
and
those
so.
are the worst. Can we talk about that for a minute? Nighttime lows are, there's two times of day that I hate going low the most. One would be when I'm parenting, especially when my kids were younger, like two little kids that you're responsible for, and you're going low, and it's like I can't think straight. And then the middle of the night, waking up sweaty and shaking and disoriented. It's terrible.
And that fear, right, is
Yeah.
always there because I have them a lot
Do you
before
still?
CGMs.
Okay.
And I,
We gotta look at what's going on with your insulin doses if you're having lows every night.
Well, I don't
You're
have
getting
them
too
every
much.
night, but
All
I
right.
think about them all. Every time I go to bed, I make sure I'm in range
Yeah.
and that what insulin on board I have. But just from
Yeah.
experience over the years, it's on my mind going to bed. I don't want a
Yeah.
nighttime low.
No, I think non-diabetics, I know when I explain diabetes to a non-diabetic, I'll say 24 hours a day we're juggling our blood sugar. And they'll be like, "Oh, what about when you sleep?" I'm like, "No, even when I sleep."
Mhm.
Because and they're like, "Really? When you sleep, your blood sugar can drop?" Or like they just assume, "Oh, things just level out while you're sleeping." But
Exactly.
digestion and insulin, yeah. So I mean, it's such a we I think we get so used to the reality of going to bed with that fear that we don't realize how much fear we are going to bed with every night. You know what I
Hmm.
mean?
Hmm.
Like, I don't think we really appreciate how much fear we are like carrying even all day for lows, but especially when you're going to sleep at night.
Exactly. Exactly. Yep. And my wife is worried about it too because she's
Yeah.
seen me hyper low. She's had to give me, orange juice or whatever to get me up quickly. And
Mm-hmm.
so it's just something that's always on my mind when I go to bed. I might not have one that
Yeah.
often, but it's in the back of my mind.
Yeah. My one of my worst lows, I'd say in 25, 26 years, I've had like three lows I'd say were really terrible. And the most recent one was in the middle of the night. And I like the room was spinning, but I was able to get downstairs and I gave myself glucagon.
Hmm.
But it would have been, I wonder if I'd had my blood sugar just really obvious, or if my partner at the time had been able to see it that obvious, how that would have changed something.
Hmm.
Um, but so I want to talk about because there's nighttime lows. There's actually a clinical trial happening right now for, I mean, this is something that, when we hear about like cure therapy, it's so far down the road for you and I, right? But this is a drug that I think is truly right around the corner. And Zucara Therapeutics, they're based in Canada. They are developing an injectable medication. Right now it's once a day, but eventually it'll probably be like once a week, like Ozempic. And a lot of people don't know this, but like I used to think, oh, we have lows because we're taking all this man-made insulin, but there's actually a whole communication system set up between the cells in your pancreas that produce insulin and then the cells in your pancreas that produce a hormone, glucagon, that should be telling your liver to release stored sugar. And that's what protects non-diabetics from severe lows. If you put a CGM on a non-diabetic, like Tara, my best friend, her blood sugar will go down into the 60s in the morning when she hasn't eaten in hours and hours. But it won't go much lower than that because her liver saves her, right? So beta cells, which have been destroyed in people with type 1 diabetes, right? Our immune system destroyed our beta cells. Beta cells are supposed to communicate with the alpha cells and say like, hey, I'm going to back down on insulin and you should do your thing and produce some glucagon, and the glucagon will tell the liver to release stored sugar. Our beta cells don't exist, so they're not telling our alpha cells
Hmm.
to do this. So this injectable medication is basically going to restore the communication, not between the beta cells and the alpha cells, because there are no beta cells, right? But it's going to restore the communication to the alpha cells so that they will do their job to protect us from lows. Can you imagine how like life changing that could be?
Wow. Yes.
Yeah, it's crazy. And they're recruiting right now. I'm going to give a shout out to them. You can go to t1dexchange.org/Zucara, Zucara. And they're looking for participants. Like John, you could potentially even participate. You know
Hmm.
what I mean? And but like imagine going through the whole day, let alone the night, where you only have to worry about not going high and you don't have to worry. That's what makes diabetes so hard, right?
Right. That's the easy part. Not going high, you can stop that with,
Yeah.
what you eat and how much insulin. But going low is just
Right. We're on a tightrope. So imagine
right.
if there's no tightrope now. It's just like a nice wall that you could balance against or bounce off of if you took too much to prevent the high.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we could even fathom what it's like to be able to just deal with preventing highs and not worry about the fear of lows. And people without diabetes have no clue how much daily anxiety we all have of just trying to not go low.
Especially like even during the day, I cycle a lot, and I
Mm,
you're going low during cycling, and I cycle with a buddy of mine, and he's very well familiar with my diabetes now.
yeah,
You
I
know,
bet.
he's asking me all the time, "What's your numbers? What's your numbers?"
Yeah, right. And
I mean,
like when non-diabetics are first getting to know you, they like it bothers me when they'd see like blood sugar, like let's say 150 on my thing. They're like, "Oh, that's high, right?" I'm like, it takes them so long to understand, like, that might be a teeny bit high, technically. Like, yes, technically that's high, but like, I can't aim for 80 all day like you do, and as a non-diabetic because of that risk of going low. It just takes a long time for
hmm
people to learn that of how fragile it is.
I'd rather be high any day than low.
Yeah, right? Well, yeah, do the highs come with guilt for you or frustration?
No, because a lot of times I know it's my fault.
Hmm,
Like I
okay.
ate too much and I didn't bolus enough, and a lot of so I know. Oh, I forgot the bolus, or I under bolused, or I didn't check the carbs on this before I ate it. Whereas that's why I don't care about a high. I could
Okay.
correct it, and I
Yeah.
don't get
Okay.
that high because my Dexcom will let me know,
Yeah.
or my watch will vibrate so I know. But I kind of keep track of it a lot. That's like I said, I'm type A. I'm always looking at my watch to see my readings. So
Hmm.
I'm if I get over 250, I'm okay. I'll get back down.
Okay. All right. I get a little, I mean, I hate going low because a low just zaps all your energy. You know what I mean?
Hmm
It's like, it's so physically uncomfortable, like in every part of you. Like, ugh, I just want to like crawl out of my own skin,
Yeah,
you know?
horrible.
Yeah. You said you get ornery. You turn into a
I
jerk when
get
you're low
short tempered. I
every
sweat.
time or just
Not
like,
every time. A
yeah,
lot of times.
bad
I get
lows.
short tempered. I sweat. I get real weak.
Yeah.
My legs feel like when I'm cycling and I'm biking, they feel like rubber, like they can't move the
Yeah.
pedals anymore. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so miserable. You know, something I learned actually from talking to some of these clinical trials, not just Zucara, but other clinical trials, is we need to report our lows more clearly to our healthcare team for down the road in anticipation of qualifying for medications, potential medications like Zucara's or even down the road with other companies. And we don't because there's nothing they can do about it. We know why we went low or whatever, right? And maybe there is. If you're having frequent lows, like that's a problem and it means you're on too much insulin, right? Um, but literally it needs to be like documented. And this, I would recommend that you tell your doctor, just put this in my chart. And for anyone listening,
Mm.
you can tell them, hey, I have had some low blood sugars that required help from another person. That's what counts as severe hypoglycemia, not necessarily losing consciousness, but just that required assistance, like your wife getting you a glass of orange juice. And having that in your chart, every time you go to the doctor, say, yes, I experienced a few severe hypos that required assistance from my wife or my friend or my cycling buddy. Having that in our chart down the road could help us qualify for some of these newer therapies that are going to come out in the future. They're going to want to see a record of severe hypos.
That's a good point
Put
because
just putting it out there. Yeah.
when I wanted to get on a CGM, I had to have this, back in the day, the old log book full of blood
Mm-hmm.
stains. They had to see all these patterns of lows, which was
Mm-hmm.
crazy because I just filled them in on my own, a lot of
Yeah,
them.
I hope
But
you
they
did.
had to have
I
all
just
this.
created a
That's
database and just
right.
threw a bunch of numbers in there, like
Yeah,
430. Like they made us do that. It was ridiculous what they were asking us to do.
right.
So there you go. Yes. Uh, yeah, it's so we have to just have it in our record. And we don't talk to our doctors about severe lows or overnight lows. We don't talk about it because by the time, like, I mean, it doesn't feel like that. I know why I was having a lot of lows at the end of summer. I was also having a lot of highs. I was going through a lot of stuff personally, and I had very blatantly and consciously decided to pay less attention to my diabetes, right? So my blood sugars were fluctuating more than usual.
Hmm.
And my doctor's not going to help me with that. That's my own, like, hour by hour decision making, you know?
Exactly.
Yeah. But I did, at my last appointment, I did tell him we need to document the fact that I had some lows this summer where, like, you know, even Tara had to be like, you need to eat something. I know you're low right now. We could be both on a call meeting together, just the two of us. She can see that I'm going low. And I'm like, yeah, I'll treat it, you know. And she has to encourage me to go treat the low.
Hmm.
That's going to count as Ginger needed assistance. You know what I mean?
Right.
Just get it in your records. Yeah. Lows suck.
They do.
They
You know,
do.
if I had a savings account with all the money I spent on glucose tablets and gummy bears and all, jeez.
Yeah. That's the other thing. How do you like to treat your lows? Especially in
Um,
the middle of the night.
in the middle of the night, I have a jar of them right on my nightstand.
Yep.
I have all kinds of different ones. I don't know if I can
Yeah.
promote one or the other, but
That's all
I don't
right.
like.
But don't you get sick of certain types and you gotta switch it
Oh,
up?
I don't like the tablets because that chalky taste. And I
No,
even
they're
don't
terrible.
like orange juice anymore because
Ugh.
I don't drink orange juice except for low, so I associate it with a low. Can't
Yep.
stand orange juice.
Ugh.
So I have these new glucose gummy bears that I keep on my nightstand and I have them in my cycling pack, jersey pocket.
Okay.
My wife carries them in her purse. I have
Okay.
them
They're
in my,
gummy bears, not the glow gummies,
well,
which are square.
actually the glow gummies.
They're glow gummies?
I'm
Okay,
not.
those are so good. Yeah.
Yes, I have them everywhere in my house,
Yeah,
in my
those are
car.
awesome.
And I
Yeah.
met the owner of it, and I told her you have to make sure these don't melt in the heat because I live in Louisiana and it gets 100 and something degrees
I
during the
think
summer
so.
in the
I
car.
had her on the podcast. I think she figured out,
She
right?
did.
How
I
to make
think she
sure they
said
don't
like
melt.
175 degrees.
Yeah, okay. Wow. And they're so soft and they melt in your mouth,
Hmm.
which is funny they
Hmm.
don't melt. Yeah. But the other really impressive thing about those is how little you need to pop your blood sugar because it is exactly just what you need. You
It's
know,
perfect.
versus when you eat something with fructose corn syrup in it, that's going to take so much longer and it feels like you need more. And then you get that delayed spike later. But the
Right.
glow gummies are like, yeah, pop in the
Right.
middle.
Yes.
Yeah. So where can people find the glucose projector and what's it like when you first get it set up and what technology does it work with?
It works with Dexcom 6 and 7 and the Libre 2 and 3S. For
Okay.
now. The reason that's the only two is because, like I said, this has been in the works for 4 years, and those are the most dominant CGMs on the market. So, as it kept going on and on, I said, let's just get this on the market right now for Dexcom and Libre. And in
Yeah.
future generations, they can update the firmware. So, if anybody buys a glucose projector now, and say they switch to a different CGM other than Dexcom and Libre, it will have the firmware built in to work for that new CGM. Or
Okay.
if it's a newer one on the market, then my engineer can just program it to work with that CGM.
Is it hard to get the CGM companies to like allow you to connect to their technology? Is that like a big messy process?
Well, I didn't get okay from them, just like my competitors. You just go through like the follow apps that you have on your phone,
Oh, okay.
and
So
it
you don't
connects.
need to, yeah.
Right. I don't need their API, permission for their API or anything like that.
Okay.
So
Good.
you connect it through like for me, I have a Dexcom and my wife follows me on the Share app. So when you get the glucose projector, you connect it to your Wi Fi at home and then you enter your Dexcom CGM login and password, and then it connects through the Follow app to the projector.
Okay. Cool. Okay. And I know glucoseprojector.com
Right?
is the best place to go find the
That's the
product.
only place I am.
Yep.
I am. There's three people work here: me, myself, and I. So I'm not an Amazon. I'm not
What
a.
a great team. Yeah.
I just ship it right here, package it, ship it out the same day, and you'll get it in 4 or 5 business days.
Cool. Made by people with diabetes for people with diabetes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
Cool. What are some of your plans for the future of the glucose projector technology?
Well, I
What would
would
you
like
like to do with it next? Yeah.
expand it to all the CGMs available,
Mm-hmm.
possibly change colors. Some people ask me it's only red because that's the
Mm.
night if you that's the least what they say like hardest on
Right.
your eyes at night. But
Yeah.
some people have asked for blue or different colors. Maybe that, maybe not. I don't really know yet. I've only been on the market since July of this
Okay.
year, 2025. So I just want to, get it available, get the word out to people, get feedback. I get a lot of
Yeah.
positive feedback, and then
Good.
and go from there. But probably the next step is having every CGM included, like the Medtronic, the
Yes. And my
Evermed.
Eversense.
Right,
Yep.
right.
Yep. Love my Eversense. I wish I could connect it to the glucose projector. That would be cool.
In time.
Yeah. Yep. In time, for sure. And when you said that about the red lights, I think of the movie Crimson Tide with Denzel Washington,
Hmm.
the submarine movie, right? Whenever there's like a crisis in the submarines, it's always red, red lights. So that makes sense. But then for people with diabetes, we see red, we assume low. So I can see why somebody might want like a non-emergency color.
Hmm.
Yeah, have that. Okay. And then can you show us the screen because it kind of changes between a few different pieces of
Sure.
information.
So that is my current reading, 171.
Yep.
That is my change in that. Well, I have it set. You can set the amount of time it shows, like 10 seconds, 10 seconds, 10 seconds. But
Okay.
the only thing I want to know is my glucose value. So it goes 171, current reading. My trend is -3, and then back to 171.
Okay.
So you can have it show the time of day. Is it not showing the time of day? Let me see.
So if my blood sugar was changing rapidly, would that three number would show something
Yes.
bigger?
In the
Yes.
arrow, the trend arrow right here
Yeah.
would be going down or it would be
Okay.
going up.
So your arrows change too. Yep.
Right. So it
Cool.
shows the time of day, current reading, and your change in delta.
Okay.
And that just flashes constantly all night long. Wherever you place it, you could place it on the wall or the ceiling. And
Yeah.
me and my wife like to place it right underneath the crown molding on my wall so she can see it without looking over my body. I can see it, and we don't have to
Mm.
look down at the actual display, which is kind of behind us on the
Yeah.
nightstand.
Yeah, that's cool. Right. I hate it when I'm looking for my phone and I have my phone like plugged in on a shelf behind my pillows,
Mhm.
right? And sometimes there's been nights where I can't find it because it fell into the crack or it fell on the floor or it's hidden under a pillow because I was in my sleep. I like turned off a snooze alarm or something, a low alarm or whatever. It would be so nice to just look up and see it instead of digging around for my phone every time.
Same as when I wore a pump with tubing. The thing would fall out of my pajama pocket, and I would try to find
Mm,
it. And it's wrapped around the back of me and all, so I don't have to worry about anybody with a tubing doesn't have to worry about pulling out your pump. It's right there. Blink
right,
of an
right.
eye.
Right, right. Cool. All right. Well, John, thank you for being so creative
Thank you.
and so persistent with 4 years of trying to make this happen. Man, I would not have guessed it took that long. That's crazy.
Well, and
Yeah.
also I had the idea, and that was it. I'm not a tech guy. I'm not an engineer, so I had to hire somebody to do everything. And
Yeah.
that took a while too, because like I was saying earlier, try to explain to an engineer what hypoglycemia is like and why is it trending and all of that diabetic tech talk to somebody that has, what's diabetes? Yeah, that's you when you eat too much sugar. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And you really, I mean, you just really wanted this. You wanted a product like your clock projector, and you made it happen. So thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Thank you.
Glucoseprojector.com, everybody.
Thank you.
It's with the three person staff over there, John, John, and
Yeah.
John. Awesome. All right. Thank you, John.
Thank you. Bye bye.